Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully complete our models. So here I define all that our models. So that is our all that model I have created, and that is all that class. So now I want to first of all register it, and after that register I want to migrate it. So if you want to register it, then in our app logging, so better first of all I save it. And now if you go to our app logging, into the app logging, there are admin, that means the admin.py. And into the admin.py area, first of all here we have to define our models, that means our from in our app underscore logging, and from to the app logging there is a models. So from here I want to input our class as a user class, and also I want to input our profile. Okay, I want to input our profile class. So that is the class I have already created in our models area, and after that we have to register it. So here I just simply define as admin and then site and then register. Okay, register and then our user, and also there is another one as a admin and then site and then register, and that will be as a profile. Okay, so that will be as a profile. And also here we change our default one, right? Here we change our default user, that means this user. So now we have to actually also indicate it. So we have to indicate it in our that is our main project. Go to the setting, so to the setting area, so whatever the place you want. So right now better after this, okay, after this here I want to define one of the custom user model. Better I want to put some of the note for you. It will be as a custom user model. Okay, so here we have to defining it, so it will be as a auth underscore user, because here we change it, so that will be as a model. And this model here I have defined. So in our app logging, so into the app and then login, into the app logging, that will be our user, that is our custom user, right? So I just simply defining it. Make that sure you add that part. Okay, so now let's check this out. Now I want to migrate it. So if we get any error in particular that area, it will be displayed. Don't worry about it. So now here I want to open, and better I just close it. I open new terminal, and now here we have to run our migrate, and here we don't need to run that our php manage.py migrate. So here we have to first of all run with our py and that manage.py, and then make migrations. Okay, make migrations, and then our app underscore logging. Okay, so here I have to defining it. So that is our py manage.py and the make migrations, our app logging. Now click as the enter, and you can see it's now showing some of the syntax error. So that is in our models. Into the models, that is our Django dispatch import. Okay, so here we define some of the wrong. So that is the import. You can see I didn't define that import, that is a dispatch, and from to the dispatch here we have to define that receiver. So why, actually maybe it's gone from here. So I have to define that receiver. Okay, I just simply define the receiver. Maybe actually I cut it. Okay, maybe I cut it from here. So for the reasons it's gone from to this position, because of all here I have already used it, right? So I have already used that receiver. You can see there is actually the receiver. Maybe I actually cut it from here, for the reasons it's gone. So now let's check this out. I just click as a save all again. Now I want to run again. That is a py manage.py made migrations and the app logging. Click as a enter. And also it's now showing another error. So that is also in our models. There is an extra field and set default. So that is our 26 line. So as I told you, if you get any error, don't worry about it, we will solve it. So that means in our 26, that is our extra field. So here that is actually our function. Here we have to make that all the things in our function area. So I just simply defining it. Okay, so I just simply defining it on here. Now do that again, click as a save all, and define py manage.py make migration app logging. Click on the enter, and also it's getting another one, that means in our return self create user. So that is a 34. So that means So that is a return self. So showing as a return self user, this syntax error as a return outside that function. That means that is actually our function. Okay. So here actually that is actually function. We have to make the things into the function area. That means right now that is actually into our function area. And then also there is our another one. Now let's check this out. So here actually that is in our function area. So now we have to pass it in our this function position. Okay. So now I just click on the save all, run it again, click on the enter. Yes, now you can see it's now perfectly getting our two of these as a create model user and also the model profile. And after that we have to migrate it. So I just simply define as a py and that manage.py and that migrate. Now click as a enter. Now you can see it's now perfectly migrating all that our database table. And now I want to create one of the super user. That means here if you want to create some of the super user, then what exactly you have to do? You have to define as a py and that manage dot py and then the create super user. Okay. So I just simply define as a create and then super user. Now click as a enter. Now you can see friend, before that was actually asking for the username, but right now as I told you we customize it. Now here you can see it's now asking for our email, not the username, right? So now I just name it as a admin@gmail.com. click as a enter and the password I define as udemy12345 udemy12345. click as a enter. Yes, you can see our super, that means our super user created successfully. So now I want to run our server as a py and that manage.py and then run server. click as a enter. So now that is our server. So now I want to access our admin. Now go to our site. Here I paste it and redirect it to our admin. Now in particular that position I want to add our email address. You can see here it's not showing that username. So right now it's showing our email address and the password. I hope you can well understand about it. You can see we just changed our total default system. That means the default authentication system. So right now I'm using that email. So I just simply define that email as a admin@gmail.com. and then password udemy12345. click as a login. Yeah, you can see now we can successfully logged in our admin area. And into the admin area, that is our profile and that is our user. So if you go to that our profile, and you can see into the profile area, that is our AS profile. So that is the things we have defined. So right now if you go here, so in particular that position I show you. Now it should be very much clear to you what exactly the things I defined. So into the profile, you can see there is all that our field, and here after that username it should be added the AS profile, right? So for the reasons you can see it's now showing as the AS profile. So now if you go to our add profile area, or if you change it, like here I want to define some of the username right now, and I just define that username as Aryan right now. Okay, I just simply define as Aryan. You can see there's all that our field, that is username, there is a full name, the address, the city, the zip code, the country, phone, everything is now perfectly getting on here. So now I define one of the username as Aryan. Now click as a save. Now you can see it's now showing as a Aryan's profile, right friend? And also if you go to the user, that means that is actually the user, and with the user you can see that is actually the and now showing only that email address. That means here if you open it, so now it should be very much interactive to you. So here you can see that is actually the email field. Here I have defined two of this. There is our stuff status and that is the active. So now if you go to our site, here I have defined that field. You can see that is actually the stuff status, and the study status it should be show some of the help text, and that is actually the help text. And now you can see it's now showing our this help text on here. And also I have defined another one as active. So that is actually our another one as active, and for the active that is our help text, and this help text is now visible in particular that area. Okay, And also here you can see I defined that things, that means this field as a boolean. So for the reasons you can see I defined that boolean. So that is our field. I have defined field. You can see there is a is active, so is active as a boolean field, and also for our stuff status I define as a boolean field. So for the reasons you can see there is actually a boolean field. So right now if you want to check it, you can check mark it. If you want to uncheck, you can uncheck mark it. Okay. And also you can see it's now showing as an email, but there have no username, first name, last name, right? By default, in our previous all that section I have already discussed about that things with you. When you logged in, we get with this user, we get some of the external, some of the field as a username field, password field, and then also we get that first name, last name. So right now you can see it's totally customized. So here we created this customization with our this model. So that is actually our model. Okay, friend. So now I think it should be very much clear to you. So for doing this, here you have to actually defining that part. So it's now perfect. So everything is now perfectly visible. So that is our stuff status. So if you also want to change that name, you can change it. As I told you, everything actually comes from our this position. Okay. So here you can see there is stuff status. So right now if you remove it, now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see it's now only showing that status. Okay, so here we successfully customize our user, that means our admin user, and also I added another field as a profile. So next video I want to work for our sign up portion first, and then step by step we'll go more deep and we'll create one of the e-commerce project. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.